Welcome back. My name is AJ, and on this video, we are going to continue adjusting the rest of the breakpoints to make sure that all of this content looks nice and neat and organized. Before we even do that, I forgot to mention something on the previous video, and that is that this text, this secondary text on the phone breakpoint, will get cut off if you are viewing it on a smaller screen. So if I were to shrink this, you can see the text getting cut off. So there's two things you can do here. The first one would be to select that particular text on the main breakpoint, and then we can change the width to fill, and we can also change the alignment to center. Now, if I were to test this again on the phone breakpoint, it will work. However, there's a little issue that the text adjusts, but it will go and get on top of the card. You don't want that. You want the card to be visible at all times. So instead of doing that, I'm going to undo that, and I'm going to go ahead and go with option B. Option B would be to do exactly what we did in the previous videos, and that is to select the text and change the size. So go to text styles, select that style, edit, and with the small breakpoint selected, we can bring the size down to, let's say, 24 pixels. Now, if I were to test this and I were to bring this down, you can see that it's no longer an issue and it looks great. It's doing exactly what we wanted it. So now that we're done with that, we are going to move on and adjust the rest of the sections. So the section 2 right here, this is called features, and as you can see, it's a stack that has let me see, where's the option? It has the wrap option on. So what it's doing is wrapping around the cards, as you can see here on the tablet, because there's no space. So it's pushing the cards down. Now this doesn't look bad. However, you can make it look better. For instance, you can make it look just like it looks here on the desktop, but that is up to you. Let me show you a couple of things that you can do, and then you select whatever works for you. So first things first, we're going to select this stack here, and we are going to change the width to fill. All right, and now we're going to select every single card inside of it. Remember, everything that I'm doing is on the main breakpoint, and we are also going to change the width of each individual card to fill instead of fixed. And now, as you can see, there was changes here, here, and here. Now, it looks great, it still looks good, but we want to keep things on the desktop organized and uniform. So every section here has a max width of 1000 pixels. So let's do the same thing here, and let's select this stack. And we are going to come here where it says max width, and instead of having this to relative, we're going to change that to fixed, and we're going to bring this down to 1000 pixels. And now, as you can see, it looks really organized, very uniform and nice. Very nice to the eye. That's what you want. You want to build things that looks good to the eye, organized and user-friendly. All right, now that we make those changes, we can come here to the tablet, and as you can see, now they are side by side, just like on the desktop, but they look a bit small. However, let's make a little bit of adjustments here and see how it looks. So we're going to select that stack on the tablet breakpoint, and we are going to change the alignment to the top, and now you see the cards got pushed to the top. Let's see how it looks. Now we're testing the tablet breakpoint, and as you can see, they are aligned next to each other. They look really nice, and if you change the size of that tablet, they will adjust accordingly. Now it looks really good. However, if you have a smaller tablet, they're kind of cramped together. I think that there is a better option. We're gonna go ahead and go with that, but you do whatever you think is best for your designs. So instead of having this side by side, what I'm going to do is select the stack again on this tablet breakpoint, and I'm going to change the direction from horizontal to vertical. And with that, you have bigger cards that are easier to read and more user-friendly. One more thing I want to change here is this gap right here. So with the same stack selected, come over to the gap, and I'm going to bring this up to 30 pixels. And there you go. It looks much better. Perfect. Now we're gonna jump over to the phone breakpoint, and in here, as you can see, there's a lot of space on the sides, and that's due to padding. So we're gonna select the feature stack that is housing everything on this section, and as you can see, the padding again, we gotta adjust that. We're dealing with the phone, so we're gonna do 60 for the top, 60 for the bottom, and we're going to do 10 pixels on each of the sides. And with that, it looks much better, and all we have to do now is select the actual stack that contains the cards, and we're going to change the direction again to vertical. And with that, you have again a very nice looking section. All right, moving on to the next section. The other section is the CTA section, and it looks very good here on the desktop breakpoint. We're going to come down here to the tablet, and it doesn't look bad, but this image is a little bit not the way we want them to look. What I mean is we want to preserve the aspect ratio of this one. So in order to do that, let's go back here to the image in the desktop breakpoint, and we are going to change or actually we're going to lock that aspect ratio. Just click this icon, this lock icon, and just like that, you have adjusted the aspect ratio on the tablet as well. Now, one more thing to notice is that we are working, I believe it's 20 pixels on the left and right. I could be wrong. Okay, no, we have 40 pixels here. So we're gonna adjust this on the second section before moving on. We're gonna do the same thing for the tablet. Instead of 100, we'll do 80 top and bottom. And then for the size, we'll do 20 pixels. There you go, that looks much better. And now we are going to do the same thing, repeat the same process here for this section called the CTA. We are going to give this a padding of 80 top and bottom, and we're going to do 20 on the sides. There you go. Now there's one more thing to notice here, and that is that since we have items here that are a certain size, is pushing this stack up, and if you like it, you can leave it like that. You can even remove this border if you want, but since we started designing this way, I'm going to keep it, and I'm going to show you another option that you have here, and that will be to change the direction of this stack. So again, select the CTA stack, and we're going to change the direction to vertical. Now it looks much better, and the image again, the image looks a little bit weird and out of place, and that's because if you click on that image, you can see that, let me see, content, where's that image? Oh, right here. So this image is going outside of the screen because we have a 1.5 frame size. So if you bring that down to 1 frame, remember, don't unlock this, we want to keep the same aspect ratio, but bring this down to 1 FR, and with that, the image have adjusted beautifully to the new setup that we have. All right, other than that, we can see that here we have a space of the 80 pixels, and remember, depending on your setup, you might have to change this a little bit. So let's just give it a 0 padding on top and see how it looks. There you go, it looks better. I like it, I like the way it looks. If you want to bring this down even more, we can select this stack that's housing all of these text and buttons, and see that it has a fixed height. So instead of a fixed height, we can set it to fit content, and then we can add some padding at the top at the bottom, and now we can do 80 pixels. Let's see how it looks. There you go, much better. Perfect. All right, let's see how it looks on the phone. Now the phone is a little bit funny because it's a narrow screen. All we have to do here is change the direction to vertical by selecting the CTA stack. Okay, and now we can do the same thing we did in the tablet. Select this image, give it a 1 FR instead of 1.5, 1 FR as a fill. Okay, and now for the this we will do the same. We select the stack that is housing all this text on the buttons, change the height instead of fixed to fit content. And now we are going to give this a padding of 20 pixels all around. And now it looks much better. Perfect. All right, so we have fixed that. Oh yeah, there's one more thing here. This image is too close to the side, so we're going to select the CTA stack that's housing everything. This is the section, and we're going to change the padding as well. Again, this is a phone breakpoint, so let's do 60 top and bottom, and we'll do 10 for the sides. And there you go. Much better. Beautiful. Okay, so here, let's see, the CTA, we might want to do that fit as well. Let's see, CTA, yeah, I set to fit, and this has a 60. All right, perfect. Now, the other section that we have to fix is going to be this grid. This is going to be a little bit more involved, but it's easy. Do not worry about it. All you have to understand what you're working with. And this is a grid. Okay, so what we have here is a grid, and it has these images inside in the form of a grid and this text. If we look on the tablet, the grid looks great, but you see this line when I hover over that blue line, the square, that means that the grid is being squashed because there's a lot of padding. So we're gonna select the features too. Let's make sure that we're selecting the tablet. So select here and then select features too. And now we're gonna look here on the size. We have a padding of 100 on top. Let's change that to 80 because this is a tablet. Top, 80 bottom. We're gonna do 10 here and 10 on the other side. That looks much better now. Now there's one more thing to change here, and that would be this gap. It works well in the tablet, but not here. It's too much. So we're going to select the grid. And with the grid selected, we're going to come here to the gap and change this to 30. And there you go. Now it looks the way it's supposed to be. Great. Now, one more thing to do is this frequently asked questions. As you can see, it has extra padding on the side, so we select the frequently asked questions stack, and we are going to change the padding again to 80 top, 80 bottom. We do 10, not 10, but 20 because this is a tablet on the sides. And now everything looks uniform. I believe I messed up on the padding on this one. Let's see, grid. Padding, actually not the grid, up here. Yeah, this should be 20 instead. 20 and 20 because we're dealing in a tablet, not the phone. All right, and as you can see, we have the same space all around, and no matter what screen size that tablet is, we always gonna have that 20 pixel gap on the sides. That's beautiful, perfect. Now the last thing we have to do is we have to change this grid here on the phone. Now the way we do that is exactly the same way we did it with the tablet. So we're going to select the grid, and you can see that there's a lot of space. It's being squashed. So select the features too on the phone breakpoint, and we're going to go to the paddings, and we're going to change that to 60 because this is the phone. 60 top, 60 bottom, and 10 on each side. And there you go. We make the adjustments. Now you cannot see it because this is a very small screen, and so in order to change the format of this grid, what we're going to do is select the grid here on the phone breakpoint, and under layout you're going to see an option that says advanced. Click in here, and under columns we're going to change that to auto. Now you have every single one of these pictures or actual stacks. They're being stacked on top of each other. Now this one looks smaller than this one, and the same thing here because of another setting that we have to adjust. So if we click here, for instance, this stack that is housing this image and this text, look on the side, Here under next to span, it says 2 columns, but if you select this one, it says 1 column. So all you have to do is select these 2 stacks, 1 and 2, and change this to 2 columns. And with that, you have very nice images on top of each other. Now let's give this a test real quick. Let's hit play here. And now if we scroll down to that section, you see that they look very nice. However, if you increase the size of the screen, they will start looking more like a rectangle. If you like that, you can leave it like that. However, I want to keep things looking more like a square. So in order to do that, we're gonna have to come down here and select each image independently or individually. Select it, then you can select it again by holding shift, select the other one, and the last one. And now we're going to log this aspect ratio, and with that, once we hit play, come down here, you can see that once we increase the size of the screen, the images will keep the aspect ratio, and that's exactly what we wanted. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, we have finished. Let me just adjust this one at the bottom. Let's make this 60, 60, 10, and 10. And let's give this a test in every single breakpoint. Let's go to the desktop. And that's what we got. Beautiful. Now let's do the same thing here for the tablet. And we can come to the phone. And as you can see, it looks very, very nice. And that is how you create a simple website. Now there are some minor adjustments that we are going to take care of on the next part, but with these alone, you have created a very simple page that looks really great and is responsive in every single breakpoint. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next part.